Insanity.
Hello, you absolute legends. Can you believe it? It's already been more than a year since the completionist and his family's decade-long charity scam was exposed last November. For those who need a quick refresher, between the years of 2014 and 2023, Gerard and his charity, the Open Hand Foundation, took in around $1 million of donations, money that they said was going to various charities focusing on dementia research. But over that entire time, the truth was that they hadn't donated a single penny, and had kept everything. It was only after Mutaha and myself made our videos about the situation that the Open Hand Foundation finally donated some of the money, donating $600,000 to the AFTD. The completionist public image was pretty much destroyed, and deservedly so. He had been lying for years, and after he was exposed, he took no accountability whatsoever. He made
here's the question. I'm not gonna say it.
Excuses, made up lies, and more than anything was just angry at us for making the public aware of what he was doing. And it didn't take long for the completionist to return to YouTube and continue making content. After his terrible response video, he just
I was gonna make a joke and say maybe he donated the money and then they just forgot. But that is a terrible joke. And I will be the first person to say that that is a bad joke. And I will say this, I'm allowed to make that joke because my great-grandmother who just passed away this year had dementia. My grandfather has dementia. So I'm allowed to make that joke. I've lost enough people in my family to make that joke, okay? Even though it's completely out of left field and it should not be made. And it was a fucking dumb joke. I think it was kind of funny whenever I thought of it.
Moved on and acted as if this entire charity scandal never happened. And
what pass is that called? To be in a shithead pass, I think.
They even held another golf charity event several months later. This was immediately after it was already proven that for years the golf charity money had never even made it to the Open Hand Foundation. The family was keeping everything. But then, around 4 months ago, the completionist disappeared. And there might be a good reason for this. The completionist production company, That One Video Entertainment LLC, is in huge trouble. I've never spoken about this, but for the past 2
Is this NoPixel?
years, the completionist company has been engaged in a frivolous lawsuit against the biggest GTA Online roleplay server, NoPixel, basically trying to extort them for half of their company. And in October, they lost. And now Gerard's company may have to pay back hundreds of thousands of dollars in attorney's fees. And the cherry on top
Wait. Is his company with DW? That's the same. Wait a minute. Yes. Wait. Who the fuck is this? Who is this guy?
of all of this is that it appears as though the Open Hand Foundation might now be under investigation by the IRS. A lot's been happening, and in today's video, we will take a quick look. I really hope you enjoy. Now, Legends, a huge shout out to today's sponsor, Watcher of Realms. Watcher of Realms is a really fun fantasy RPG that I've played a ton of over.
Is this the company that invested in Onyx, or is this the company that gave DW the money to? I'm so confused.
I want to spend as much time as it will take to rebuild and re-earn your trust. It's going to take time, but I'm willing to put in the commitment, and I hope you give me a chance.
This is what Gerard said back in January when he returned to YouTube less than 2 months after his charity scam was exposed.
Mr. K was right.
I have no idea what he meant when he said that he wanted to re-earn your trust. Because after this statement, he continued to pretend that nothing ever happened and he never spoke of it again. For the next 8 months, Gerard would continue to post videos to his channel, hoping to resuscitate his brand. The quality, however, was now greatly diminished because most of his employees either quit or he let them go. And then in August, he released a video about alien isolation and hasn't been seen since. But while Gerard was pretending that everything was hunky-dory on the surface, behind the scenes, shit was hitting the fan. For the past year, many people, including myself, have been waiting for the Open Hand Foundation to file their 2023 IRS tax forms. Personally, I wanted to see if anything changed after they got exposed. Were they suddenly going to start properly declaring their income now that so many eyeballs were focused on their charity? Well, what's interesting is that the Open Hand Foundation hasn't filed their 2023 IRS tax form, despite it being long past the deadline. If you search the charity through the Office of the Attorney General, it says their reporting is incomplete and the IRS form is required. This hasn't happened in any other year. The Open Hand Foundation have always filed their forms on time. So it's very peculiar that at a time where it's more important than ever to be transparent,
keep on the camera, you'll be looking at my sack,
of course,
bruh.
There are multiple possible reasons why they aren't submitting their forms. The most obvious would be they haven't yet done their 2023 accounting, but it could also mean they are currently being audited by the IRS. Personally, I think it's the latter, given how many people reported the charity after the scandal broke. Another piece of evidence to support the fact that they are being audited is that it does appear they have already done their 2023 accounting. So there doesn't seem to be any other legitimate reason not to file. We know they've done their 2023 accounting because as part of their 2024 annual charity registration to the Office of the Attorney General, they needed to state their revenue and expenses for the previous year, which they did. And this is where things get very interesting. This form doesn't give us any breakdown like the IRS tax forms would, but
Koil
it does give us a few basic figures.
So we're waiting
to
find
out.
out.
In 2023, the Open Hand Foundation raised $155,000. This is significant because it's by far the most revenue the organization has ever reported in a single year. The previous highest total was back in 2021, when they raised $136,000, but that was under very different circumstances, so let's compare. In 2021, Gerard's fundraiser Indieland received $113,000 in donations just through Tiltify alone. The charity also received a $25,000 grant from Jamie Lee Curtis's charity, Syzygy. Just these two income sources alone already amount to more than the $136,000 they reported, which means all of the bits, subs, merch sales, and all of the golf charity money simply vanished. Gerard's company or his family just took the rest. And this pattern of money vanishing continued from the years 2019 all the way through to 2022, a total of 4 years. And the money that went missing probably totaled several $100,000. But in 2023, after the public realized Gerard's family was stealing money, suddenly everything changed. In 2023, Indieland only raised $64,000 in donations through Tiltify. This is $50,000 less than in 2021. And yet magically, 2023 was the Open Hand Foundation's best year ever, raising $20,000 more than they did in 2021. It is a miracle.
Yes, Drago.
By the grace of God, the Khalil family has finally learned how to properly report their income. It's amazing. We already knew that Gerard and his company were stealing money before, but this most recent accounting is just the nail in the coffin. It is so because Gerard's company, That One Video Entertainment, has just lost a huge lawsuit.
Okay. This is what I care about.
That One Video Entertainment LLC is the company that Gerard created in 2012 that all of his business activities fall under, including all of his YouTube channels and his charity event, Indieland. I will be calling it TOV for short. On Gerard's LinkedIn page, he states he is the owner, president, and CEO of TOV. And in April of 2023, TOV sued GTA Online's most well-known role-playing server, NoPixel. NoPixel is owned by Koil Content Creation Proprietary Limited, which was started by a fellow Aussie, Mitchell Clout, otherwise known online as Koil. If you follow the
and doxed.
completionist but don't follow GTA Online role-playing, you've probably never heard of this lawsuit. And even if you have, you probably have the wrong idea about who is suing who. And that's because the reporting on this lawsuit has been abysmal and full of misinformation. It all started in May 2023, when a user posted the lawsuit to Reddit, claiming that DW was suing NoPixel. DW was a developer that worked for NoPixel for several years, but he and NoPixel's owner Koil had a falling out in December of 2022, and DW ended his relationship with the server. The day after,
you know what's crazy about this whole Fallout chat? Like when you break it down, does anyone know? Does anyone actually have an idea of why this happened? I can tell you. When all of this shit finally came to a T, and all of everything hit the fan, you know what it was over? Controllers. Like, don't get me wrong, there was more shit that happened. Honestly, I think a lot of it has to do with Chain Gang, and how much DW despised us. Anyone can say that he didn't. People can say that he's not a, oh, he didn't. He gave you guys. He did not like us. There was days that he liked us, but in the grand scheme of things, at the end, he did not like us. But all of this came to a T whenever myself and Summit was bitching about controllers and racing, and Koil came on and raced with us, and he was getting his ass whooped by Goofy and all of them also racing on controllers. It wasn't even close because it's fucking broken. So then Koil started putting in this anti-controller racing shit, right? That would basically make it to where you could not race with a controller on NoPixel. And DW didn't like that. And do I think that all this happened because of that? Of course not. But do I think that that was the straw that broke the camel's back? 1,000%. 1 billion quadrillion %, bro. All of this ended up stemming from that was the decision, or that was the moment that made him make this decision that has ultimately caused all this crazy shit.
This viral
Isn't that
Reddit
wild?
post, Dexerto signal boosted the story.
What's wrong with controllers? The game was made for controllers. What's wrong with controllers is exactly what you just said. The game is made with controllers. So the stance that I take on that, and the same thing with Summit is every single aspect of GTA RP you do on your keyboard and mouse. Every single aspect, from walking around to talking to driving to whatever. And then whenever you go to race, you stop using your control, or you stop using your keyboard and mouse and then switch to a controller. I don't agree with that. I think that that is stupid. I think that that gives you a competitive advantage because, again, the game is made for controllers, and everything operates better on a controller. So you're going from playing on keyboard and mouse to then taking a competitive edge and racing on controller. It's just better. And it's bullshit that people use it. I've always had that stance, even before.
The headline, former GTA RP NoPixel server dev DW is suing owner Koil for considerable sum. However, this was all completely false. It wasn't DW that was suing NoPixel, it was the completionist company, Tove. It literally says who the parties are on the first page of the lawsuit. I don't understand how everyone got this wrong.
Because Tove is the ones who picked up the lawsuit, and DW was the reason that the lawsuit was even happening. What is this guy even saying at this point?
Asserted that because DW developed some code for the NoPixel servers, and DW was an employee of Tove, this meant that Tove owned the code that DW developed, and thus Tove should own half of NoPixel. But this entire lawsuit was a shakedown and an extortion attempt from day one. It was all bullshit. We are talking Billy Mitchell levels of frivolous. Everything about this lawsuit was a lie, and it's going to take a separate and quite lengthy video to cover everything in detail.
Which has already been covered. We watched a video about that.
The only scam that Gerard and his company were pulling, you couldn't be more wrong. Needless to say, this lawsuit never made it to trial. In October, the judge ruled in favor of NoPixel, and now NoPixel is seeking attorney's fees of $233,000, and they are probably going to get it. Unlike most other lawsuits in America, when you sue specifically for copyright infringement, it's actually built right into the statute that you can get attorney's fees if you win. And because Tove's lawsuit was so frivolous, and the judge didn't even see a need to go to trial before ruling in NoPixel's favor, Tove is probably going to have to pay up big time. As soon as the judge makes a ruling on the motion for attorney's fees, I will do a full breakdown of this lawsuit.
Damn, that's insanity.